Well, it's obviously a Thursday night in Queensland, Australia. Don't forget, Queensland never goes to daylight savings, so it's always 7 o'clock, 24/7. Hey, as you know, we go simulcast live on Facebook and YouTube, and later on you can watch the show on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, and Apple, or you can go back to the YouTube channels. Now, as you realise, our co-host is in the UK, and there's none other than Andrina Forrest, and it's a good morning to her and a good morning to our guest who she's going to bring on board.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dreaming the New Dream. And if you're listening to the replay, welcome wherever you are in the world. Today, it's the 23rd of November, would you believe? I mean, time is moving so fast. I have to keep checking what day it is, honestly. Well, for me anyway. Today, it's my great pleasure to welcome Abdul Karim Vibes to the show. So welcome, Abdul. And it's really lovely to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so I came across Abdul in Glastonbury in October, where they were doing. I missed part of it, but anyway, I got to do the evening ceremony where you were doing your beautiful swirling and twirling, and we all had supper together, and then and it was such a beautiful evening. I happened to, I think it was about 2007, 2008, I'd gone to a Whirling Dervishes in Glastonbury Town Hall, and I absolutely loved it. It was, and we all had a go, and I can't quite remember what the words were, but I know that we were holding the hand or the light of God, and we were beaming it down or something. You will have to correct me and tell me exactly what it was. But I know I had a go at twirling then. I probably only for a few minutes, I don't know, but I was just amazed that I wasn't spinning. I hadn't gone dizzy. It was really something special, and I've always wanted to do more. So when you came to Glastonbury, it was lovely. So I so enjoyed it. So anyway, without further ado, I'll waffle no more. And please share your journey of how and where you started on planet Earth.
Right. Hi, everybody. My name is Abdul Karim. I was born in Gaza, Palestine. For many of you, you recognize it as the Holy Land. I was born in the 80s in the midst of a very complex reality there, a major conflict that continues until the present day. Interestingly, as we are on the show now, so much terrible events are taking place as we speak in Gaza, the very town where I come from. So this is not a new conflict in the area. This is generational and is unfolding, unfortunately, as we are witnessing. So anyway, I was born there, and that shaped me in so many ways, because as a child, when you just open your eyes and find yourself in that reality, that extreme reality, that you get to ask all the questions. Why is this happening? Why am I here? Early on, you mature really fast, and you ask existential questions really early, and that kickstarted a deep quest within me for truth, for understanding of our reality, and just basic survival also, and a deep desire within the depth of my heart, which is to never wish for anybody to experience that, hoping that it ends with me, and this is how my entire journey started, and led me into where I am today.
Yeah, I can't imagine the horrors that you witnessed, and I know you shared some, when we were together, and yeah, unless you've experienced anything like that, you've got no idea really how deeply that affects you. So yeah, so And I know from that start in life, it's been like your mission now, to be able to be of service to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So, so where did you start doing your whirling? How did that unfold?
Whirling is the latest episode in my journey.
Oh, is it?
Uh,
Did you want
yeah,
to backtrack then? Go back.
I mean, we could, in a nutshell. I spent 23 years of my life in Palestine under war zone circumstances, where the most horrible atrocities unfold in front of your eyes, and where it hits you and all your loved ones, and you're trying to process it and make sense of it all. You look for answers. You look for what's beyond. You're in a situation where there is no value for your life. You're made to feel as such. There's no safety. There's no rights. You feel like your life doesn't matter. And then with your little heart, you ask why, and what's the point of? And then you question life, right? Is this it? And that led me into a quest for understanding life, really. And something deep within me refused to participate in these violent cycles. Something within me did not, even though it's tempting for anybody in that reality, it's the pull is real. But something deep within me refused to contribute in that cycle, and I was deeply searching for meaning and for solutions and for ways to reduce the suffering of the people. I started with the people around me, myself, started a deep journey of healing and recovery. And eventually, when I realized it's too overwhelming for me to impact it in the way I would have liked, I decided to actually leave the place, which was a mission of itself. And eventually, fast forward, I managed to go directly from that war zone into London, of all places. So
Yeah.
that was a dramatic shift at 23. And then making sense of it all. But anyway, the beautiful experience of going into London gave me a sense of safety and sense of stability, and gave me the time and space that I need to heal and look deeper, and also network and reach out to different people and communities, and hear their perspective from outside. Because while you're in that so-called people call it as a concentration camp, it's blockade, and you're like, I spent most of my life within 3 square kilometers, right? Like it is really an open air prison. And so I knew nothing about the world other than what Hollywood offered on TV at the time, etc., or the Israeli TV for that matter. So when you leave, as I was leaving, crossing over through Sinai Desert, with all that history there, that I was connecting, I didn't understand it, because there was other forms of perception that were coming to me, because I started to connect with the land, with the places that I visit, etc. Anyway, crossing through Sinai, realizing, wow, this world is such a massive place. It's not the 3 square kilometers that I was stuck in most of my life. And it's just driving for hours, like 10 hours through the Sinai Desert to reach Cairo, and then see these millions of people. And then from there, for the first time, taking a journey on the plane when I was 23, and then landing into London with all the different environment there. It was fascinating, and opened me up to, yes, I knew there's more to life. And this started the journey for me of traveling all around the world. It's like I was just catching up, right? So from there, I traveled to Canada, China, the whole Middle East again, the whole of Europe. I just couldn't stop. And I started this personal journey really and truly back to me, back to my heart, back to my essence. This journey, it was outside through the travel, but I realized that journeying outside was only reflecting the vastness of what I hold, what we all hold within. So the journey took me from healing circles to different communities, religious, spiritual, social, different countries, different cultures. And I was just exploring and picking roses from different gardens, if you will. And that helped me heal, which is very, very important, because that's like blockage in your system. So that helped me heal, find myself once again, believe in myself, and go deep within. And during that journey, I'm the type of person that if I find something beneficial for me, I would naturally and automatically want to share it.
Totally.
So along the way, I picked up a lot of modalities, healing modalities that now I practice and I teach. I got to know crystals and minerals for the first time in my life. I was like a kid in a candy store. In Valencia, Spain, for the first time, that was the first encounter I had with crystals. Like when I was a child, in our culture, Aladdin and all the fictional characters of 1000 Night and Night. I've always read about it. Look at me here in my candy store, but I've never encountered crystals in person. I just read about them, and I was always fascinated about them, like these glittery, colorful beings that I really wanted to connect with. That was the first time when I was probably 30 probably. It was the first time when I saw a real crystal for the first time, and I was captivated. I just couldn't help it. It was my first crystal was a ruby, which later on I realized that this is my crystal as a Leo. I'm a Leo in terms of star sign, and that was my crystal. I was fascinated by it. And then I couldn't help myself. I started buying. And over time, I acquired a large collection. And my friends were like, well, why don't you just, display it? And people then started saying, oh, it would be lovely if you... And then that turned into an actual crystal shop that you can see here in the photos, where I had established my own crystal store in London, and we became quite a phenomena at that, actually. And I didn't stop there, because I'm that type of person where I go where the heart goes, where I find joy and fulfillment. I just always look within, and this is what I learned on the journey. All the answers are within. Look within and follow the calling. So that was the crystal calling. So not only I was collecting them, but I also ended up going into mountains, digging them out myself.
Oh, did you? Wow.
Yes, in Turkey and other places. Maybe there's a video about that. So it's not just going into warehouses and collecting crystals, but actually going into, because I'm a van lifer too. That's another thing that came along, which was my childhood desire to always travel and be able to sleep wherever I go. So home is where you park it, or wherever I lay my head is home, as Metallica says in their famous Wanderer song.
Yeah, I had to look up the word, because I assumed it meant traveling in your van, van life, but I'd never heard of the word van lifer until I put up your flyer. So
oh wow, yeah, it's a movement. It's very, very famous over the past few years. People, especially young people, grew they're fed up from having to rent a place in the city or a mortgage and be stuck in one place. They want to travel, explore the world. So it's become very popular. You just get yourself a van, you build it up. There's tutorials everywhere now. I actually built my own camper van, mobile home. Yeah, I drove all the way. It was a van that I had parked up for 2 years from one of my businesses that I closed down. and then a dream in the gloomy November or December of London, just before Corona time. I had a dream that I was in a caravan traveling around the world planting trees.
Oh,
Yes, in every country, I saw myself planting trees, very symbolic, in a camper van. And then I woke up, the inspiration came immediately. I got my van out of its hibernation for 2 years, and I drove it all because I heard I work like this. I just go. I
yeah.
heard that they're creative in Turkey for building up caravans and camper vans. So I drove all the way from London, thousands of miles across the whole continent, all the way into Turkey, 1 month before Corona. And I crossed the border, I started the project, and then boom, all the borders of the world closed. The whole world went into lockdown, and I found myself stuck in Turkey, so-called stuck. It was the best time that I could have asked for, because I had the full freedom of being in mountains with my camper van. During that time, I had my own, retreat time there, and freedom to build the camper van, develop it. And then I found crystals in mountains. So I was just hunting the whole time, crystals. And by the time the restrictions were lifted, I had an entire collection that I shipped to London.
I bet.
And yeah, we hold like one of the largest collections in the UK.
Do you?
So
Whereabouts
yeah,
in London are you?
proudly in E6, East Ham. This is East London.
Right. Okay. I don't know it that well, but anyway.
Yeah,
I
our
know
shop is called AK Vibes. AK stands for Abdul Karim, my name, hence the brand. And
Yeah.
this
No.
is where I share my journey in that shop and everything that I've come across, from crystals to healing to therapy, to spirituality, to meditation, to superfoods and healthy foods that I've come across on the way. So this is my kind of medium to give back and share. And then back to your question, yeah, this is the website, and our online store, that currently.
You've got some beautiful crystals. You know what you were holding up. The heart ones are beautiful.
Yeah, some of the world rarest crystals you will find there as well, and it's hand selected piece by piece by myself. I consider crystals as living beings, as Tesla said as well. Quantum physics confirm that they vibrate their own unique energy. So if you connect with crystals, they sharpen your extra perception, extra sensory perception, and help you. Actually, they're guides, they're sages as far as I'm concerned, and they help you go within. These were very important tools in my journey, and now I offer them and I make them available to people. Every single piece there is hand selected by myself, or hunted, or processed. I ended up actually opening up a whole factory in Turkey, in Istanbul, to process our own crystals, which are rare and historical there. Oh my God, that land is full of magic. Like literally, it's historic. There's ancient civilizations there. They have some of the world's rarest stones that no one can have access to anywhere else but Turkey, etc. So I had the pleasure and honor of exploring that country. This is our shop. This is London roads and Victorian houses, which I miss. I'm actually not in the UK at the moment, but because I keep traveling. So this is where we are. This is the street. This is where we are based. That's our store, which we've held for 10 years, and where we do therapies. It's like a space where people can come in. They don't have to buy crystals. They can just come in and connect with crystals, and they can come and have a chat with me or my team when I'm not there. They can come and have therapy. They can come and offload. Really, it's like this temple place, this sacred space that we are holding, of a high vibrational, it's unmistakable. It's a high vibrational space. The minute you walk in, it hits you, it uplifts you. And this is why, holding a space in London is complicated.
Yeah,
In many,
I bet.
and we maintain it, we hold on and we hold that space, so that vibe and that energy is broadcasted continuously for the benefit of everyone. So this is just one aspect that we do. But back to your question about how I ended up into whirling dervish order, and that happened in Turkey when I was traveling, and because I went into different communities. I explored Hinduism, I explored Buddhism, I explored Sufism, Islam. I'm a born Muslim. And in Turkey, it led me to Sufism, or the mystical, spiritual aspect of Islam, the famous Rumi order. You may have heard of the famous mystic, I think 17th century mystic Rumi. Mawlana Jalaluddin Rumi, he's the one who brought this meditation method, if you will, this whirling dervish system of meditation. It's a form of dance. So you whirl around yourself. So I was always fascinated because Rumi is one poet and mystic that has impacted and touched my heart so much. When I read his words, I was enchanted. Like, just the words, they're to me, they're eternal words. They speak of a reality from beyond. When you connect with them, it uplifts you. Things that impacted me, like Rumi would say, you are stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. And imagine me as a child who had no self-worth, really growing in a war zone where you're made to feel this way. And then you read, no, rise up, stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. And I'm like, what? I want more of that. Like, I want to discover more of the universe. Wow. And then he further explains that you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. And that's deep and philosophical. And then as I was going through my spiritual journey, I started to have moments of, to experience this wisdom, to go inside within yourself and experience the vastness of who you are, to experience the world through your heart. It's a whole different perception. It's not through the mind. You actually quieten the mind. You go in the heart, close your eyes, and you see the whole universe. You start floating. You go to sleep, and all these dreams and visions that you see, you go into meditative states, and that's what whirling is all about. And whirling, basically, when you dance around yourself, when you whirl around yourself, what you're actually doing, you're whirling anti-clockwise, which is a way of taking you outside time and space. Anti-clockwise, it's to take you out of the matrix, so to speak, to take you out of the constraints of time and space, out of the mind. And as you come out of the mind, you find yourself going through the heart and experiencing the opening of the heart. So this is the art of pinning your heart, of opening your heart. So as you're whirling actually around your heart. You're doing this sacred dance around your heart. In Mecca, worshippers go and whirl around the Kaaba. They actually, what's called the tawaf. So they go around the Kaaba 7 times. Your Kaaba is in your heart. So you're whirling around yourself, around your true self. And Sufism teaches that God is a hidden treasure and he wished to be found. The heavens and the earth could not contain God, but the heart of the true believer contains God. So as you experience the divine within this opening of your heart, while you are whirling, you get to experience firsthand what it means to have a universe within you, what it means to be one with the universe, because everything in the universe vibrates and rotates and whirls, from the electrons around the atom, from the sun, the earth around the sun, everything is whirling, everything. So you become one with everything. And as you were, this is what I discovered. This is why I got so hooked on this method of meditation, on this dance. So much so that I travel now around the world to share it. And because it's not just about you experiencing that, you actually become that, you embody that, and then you invite those who are watching, like in this video in Glastonbury, where you were watching me. You are actually watching yourself, because there is no you and there's no me.
No, that's correct.
And so this is what I've been doing now, is going around the world, sharing this art, this dance, this meditation, this prayer, this sacred ritual, whereby, as you can see, one of my, this was in a church in Glastonbury in October this year. And as you can see from the movement, the right hand is up to the sky and the left hand is down to earth. So you are the medium between the heavens and the earth. You reach out with the right hand, humbly connecting with the heavens and asking for light, asking for love, to give all the love away. The love comes through your right hand and rotates through your heart 7 times, and then out through the left to earth, where this light and this love blesses everybody that's witnessing it, and the earth and the whole reality. So you're anchoring that light. This is how important this ritual is. And when you're there, and you open your heart to it, you receive what belongs to you. You receive a glimpse of who you are. It's like mirroring. You get to remember who you truly are, beyond the conditioning and the programming that we're told we are just a little me, you're just a brick in a wall. No, you're not. Rumi teaches you are the whole universe in ecstatic motion, and there is nothing like experiencing it firsthand. And this is what happened to me when I was lucky enough to meet my guide, my whirling guide, the master, the world master of this order, Sheikh Ahmed Dede, who you can see in the video, leading the ceremony, whom you've met in person as well, and had the most amazing chat, right?
Yeah, and Carol and I, we're blessed to have breakfast with you all in the morning. Well, we spent hours, didn't we? Or breakfast, lunch. And yeah, we received a blessing, and it was beautiful. We loved it. And we're part of the community now. We bump into Michael every day and other members. So yeah, very blessed when you came.
And that's the point. That's the point of it all, is that together we are better. It's to come together in a sacred space and sing the praises of God, raise our vibration, connect together through the heart, and collectively lift each other up, because we can. And when we do that, we get the chance to experience this interconnectivity, this subtlety that connects all of us. We get to realize that my well-being is your well-being. And for me, this is the recipe that I discovered to stop the wars. Because, you cannot engage in harmful, violent act against another human being or any other life form unless you perceive that as the other, as separate from you. The minute you realize that the other is not separate from you, is intrinsically part of you, you are the same, you are one, you're interconnected, there's no chance that you would have the desire to hurt that somebody, because you realize that you're actually hurting yourself and your future generations.
Mm.
And you wouldn't want to contribute into these cycles. So you see, this is why such art, such meditation, such form is so important, because it awakens our humanity, our true potential, this divine spark that wells deep within every single one of us, waiting to be discovered, to connect with, and to let it shine. And then you realize your infinite potential all of a sudden. You realize that you're an active player in this life. You're a co-creator. You are somebody that you're an ambassador of the divine, and that's your birthright. And you have to own it. And look at me, somebody, like somebody who was born in a war zone, a broken child who couldn't even believe in themselves. Now I get to.
What a journey you've been on.
Right?
An incredible journey, and you're a gift to humanity of showing like you can come from awful things, but you can, by going inwardly, you can be fully out there.
Yes, actually, thank you for bringing that up, because I learned through my journey that the external reality is a mere reflection of the internal reality. So people, in their attempt to do good in the world, they focus on the outside and they want to change the outside. They're going about it the other way around.
Yeah.
In reality, if you want to impact your external reality, you go inside. You focus on healing yourself. Because remember, you're the universe in ecstatic motion. The blockages that you suffer from are blockages that are reflected on the outside. Like in a simple way, if your room is cluttered, the chances are you have clutter within. And the minute you start to heal and you declutter within, all of a sudden you start to become a bit more active about decluttering your room and your environment outside. It's just a mirror effect. It's interconnected. The minute this is why I say to everybody that wants to improve and contribute and impact the world in a good way, I say, focus on going inside, heal the person that you are, practice self-love, practice self-awareness, practice self-care, and then from there fill your own cup and then look to help the next one in line. And if enough of us do this, we're all going to rise. We unfortunately, our education system don't teach us this.
No.
So I had to go through the bitter journey, the tough journey of discovering it by trial and error and going into different communities and cultures and countries around the world, and really just go through it to be able to then share this. It doesn't have to be this way. Now this wisdom is available. This is why I do what I do, so that I help people have a cheat code to life, so to speak, or shortcuts. They don't have to repeat what I did. They don't have to waste 10 years just discovering this. They can merely come and attend a whirling ceremony, for example. By the way, we travel, we don't charge for this. We are for love. So we go anywhere around the world. We can be invited, Jeffrey, all the way in Australia. We're happy to come if we're invited. In America, Canada, Europe, anywhere in the world, to World for Love and to share this gift with whoever that's interested.
Yeah, I know they love you in Australia. So,
hey, brother, I just want to bring up this photo. Where that one there. Now, he did pretty well there, doing a whirl for about 4 minutes 30 without falling over with giddiness. I'm just saying. But what I noticed here was in the realm of platonic solids, one of them is a cone, yeah? And we often saw in Western world where we have the dunce cap, or we have a wizard who uses the cone, Or you could say that the Red Indians have the teepee, another form of a cone, in order to raise the energy up. Now, your hat, that's where I'm coming to your hat, in the sense how it's placed over your head. Is that for you to center yourself when you're doing your twirling, in the sense that the hat gives you that, like a spinning top, it gives you some sort of balance, but also helping you to raise that vortex above your crown, in the sense of being contained within that sequence that's been constructed for you, rather than the cone. I'm just interested in the scientific aspect of the benefits they can bring to your body.
Yes. Well, whirling dance meditation or order developed by Rumi is full of symbology, full on, every single aspect of it. So, for example, we have a black cloak. Before we enter the sacred space and start the ceremony, we are wearing a black cloak, and then we take it off. That resembles the ego, because as you enter the sacred space to whirl, there is no place for ego. You have to leave yourself behind. You have to allow the divine to flow through you. There is no space for the ego. So that's the first thing, for example. And then the white dress that you see in the photos, that represents your coffin. That represents the death of the ego, that you left yourself behind. You recognize that there is no place for the ego in this sacred space, because you witness the oneness of God. Nothing exists but God. You cannot bring partners with God. You cannot bring anything in this divine presence. And then the hat represents the tombstone, actually, which is a reminder that this is where we are going. This is, as a body, as an ego, our ego, this is where it's going to end up. And then it reminds you that your journey is back to eternity, where you belong with God. And also, this is my own probably interpretation, is that this is your crown energy center here, and above it there's an eighth chakra or energy center, and that connects you to that. And this is like a connection with the spirit. In terms of the movement itself, because you talked about the scientific background, as you are whirling, you are creating a toroidal field centered at your heart. So there's this donut energy field that gets generated. In fact, I did not share some videos with you. There are some videos that people, when they watch it, they see light being emitted, and some extra normal phenomena where people witness. So as you're whirling, you're creating this toroidal energy field that's expansive, that expands. And that, like I said, it connects the heavens with the earth. And anybody that witnesses or is present there, they receive that light and love, because a dervish job in that state is to ask for love, to give all the love away, nothing for themselves. Just ask for the love. That's why take your presence away, keep your ego away, get in the presence of God and connect and plead. Ask for guidance, ask for love, ask for light, ask for divine grace, and then give it away. What belongs to people, they will receive in that. Nothing for you. You must not have any expectation. It's enough that you are in divine presence, because you have everything in reality when you're there. And that's where this method is so crucial nowadays, because wherever you go, you become, like Rumi says, be the spirit of any place you are at. Mm-hmm. So when you go anywhere, you travel with God. You are with God. You're bringing that divinity. You're bringing that light. You're bringing that love, and you're sharing it. You're leaving your presence behind, and you become like a distribution hub of that light and love, and you get to witness it. It's so beautiful. Not only it goes through you and you benefit others, but you get to witness it, and it's like double pleasure. You can't get enough of that. This is why I dedicate my entire life now for this. I go all around the world seeking nothing but this. I don't seek any monetary return. I don't use it, for a job or anything like that. Nothing. We are mere dervishes seeking that love and sharing that love, because we recognize that's what we are. And that's thank you. And we recognize that, and we see and witness that this reality is created from love. Even when you see the hardship and the distortion of truth, distortion of that reality, if you see it from a bigger perspective, you'll see the love behind it. All of this reality is a manifestation of a loving God that dwells deep within your heart and awaiting this reunion, with you. And this is one way of going there. And if you read the works of Rumi, he talks a lot about that connection between the lover and the beloved. And this is how he addresses God. And look how beautiful that is. If we all connect from that heart-centered space with love, with the lover, it changes the whole perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, brother. Hey, just come to that photo there. There's an aspect that's very similar to Qigong, for example.
Yes.
So in Qigong, without doing the actual whirl, you do go and place your hands like what you've just presented there. One goes to heaven, one goes to the earth. There's a few movements there that are really slow, but you can feel the chi go through your body. It's just so it's amazing how similarities turn up in different cultures.
Yes, 100%. Wisdom. This is one thing that I found fascinating about the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad, for example, of Islam, where he said wisdom is to be sought even if it was in China. Wisdom is the bounty of the believers. Wherever he or she finds it, she's most worthy of it. So this call for always experiencing and seeking wisdom and knowledge from across the world, because ultimately we are one. Rumi teaches again, who's also a follower of the Prophet. Rumi teaches that see oneness in diversity. So we might be diverse in different colors, and like there's a verse in the Quran that says, "All people, I have created you into nations and tribes. I have created you from males and females and made you into nations and tribes, so you may get to know one another." Because as we get to know one another, we realize that we are no different. We realize this oneness. The more we get to experience that, get to know one another and work together and meditate together, the more we realize, wow, that same signature, if you will, that same vibration that vibrates through me is through you and it's through him. It's just it's like different points of reference on the same grid, so to speak. It's like this interconnectivity. You get to see it, and then all of a sudden that takes you inside to meet the divine within, and to understand that you are one with the divine. And that journey is my life journey. Our life journey is to take us there, is to take us back to source, is to take us back to love. Otherwise, if we live cut off or separated, this is the root of all suffering,
Totally.
Hence why, for example, during the ceremonies, if you realize the flute is being played all the time, very, very important tool as part of the ceremony. That ney, they call it in Turkey, that bamboo flute. Again, the symbology is there. The bamboo flute was once part of the bamboo tree, and it got cut off, and it's got separated from its mother, from the source, and it was made hollow. So when you blow into it, the sound that comes out is the sound of longing for the source. This is why when you hear the flute, it's so nostalgic and so sentimental, and it evokes something within you. Because we are like that dry flute, longing for the source of where we come from, where we belong. Yeah,
that's beautiful. You know what you've shared about the flute. And I know when we watched you in Glastonbury, it's so hypnotic. Just, you know, you're totally in that space, totally focused, just watching you. You're like you're in your own trance, aren't you? For us that are watching, you know, absolutely beautiful. So my next question would be, and I see Lilius has asked the same question: how can we learn ourselves? I know there's a workshop coming up in February, isn't there, in Glastonbury? I don't know if you're coming back for that, if it's you guys, but I know I think it's February, but anyway. So how can we have a go ourselves? You know, like, so say when I finish here, I think, right, I'd love to have a go. What pointers would you give us?
Yes. So this is why we travel all around the world to teach this now. You actually missed the session because you came to the afternoon ceremony.
I know.
It's all right. It's meant to be this way, so we get to see you again.
Exactly.
So that morning, we've done a workshop with everybody in the church as well, where so many joined in, and so basically there's aspects to this where you need to be initiated. It's not necessary, it's not a must, but it's better for you so that you get spiritually aided, so to speak. Like, for example, I could not believe that for the life of me I would whirl for even 30 seconds. Like, I bet. Seriously, this is why from my childhood I wouldn't ride on them swings, and I would immediately faint or vomit. You know, it was like something that I would not do. And then I was like, oh my God, here I am face to face with my fears, you know, and I'm supposed to be whirling. I wouldn't have imagined it at all in my life that I would be doing this. Just like I wouldn't imagine myself doing any of the things I ended up doing later on, like being a hijama therapist, this wet cupping, dealing with blood and helping people. I don't know, maybe you have one of the videos there that I shared. It's like, again, one other therapy that I do that's extremely effective to detox heavy metals from the body and toxins, decayed blood cells, old blood cells, etc. It's an ancient therapy from China. Here
so tell us more.
Yeah, so this therapy is one of the most natural, the best detox known to mankind. I cannot recommend it enough. I personally treated thousands of people, probably 2,000-3,000 people by my own hands, and with my team, probably 20,000-30,000 people over many years in London. We established 3 clinics, actually, alternative medicine clinics in London, where, again, this has helped me personally, and it helped my dad and mom. My dad, and I pray that he is fine, and my mother in Palestine right now. I haven't heard from them for the past 47 days in this conflict. Really? And I have no clue. Yeah, like I have no clue. And I pray, we heard that there might be a ceasefire that I have been praying for all these days, that is scheduled to take effect today or tomorrow. So I'm hoping for the best. So basically, my dad has suffered from chronic headache, migraines, and bowel syndrome. And my mom was asthmatic. And when they visited me in London for the first time, they got to experience this therapy, and it was like magic. My dad's 7-year terrible migraine disappeared after one session. It
Wow.
was like a miracle coming true. And this is again something in the Sufi tradition. The Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him, recommended it so much on a magical journey where he traveled. He was taken by a vehicle of light, by this like Pegasus-like being, an Archangel Gabriel. They took him from Mecca to Jerusalem, where I come from, and then from there into heavens where he met God. On that journey, he said, on this miraculous journey documented in the Quran, he said, I did not pass by a single group of angels except that they told me, O Muhammad, command your people, order them to do hijama, which is this therapy, wet cupping. It's so beneficial. I cannot recommend it enough. I had practiced it personally for so many years. I've seen the impact firsthand on myself, my family, and thousands of patients that came seeking help, especially now those who want to, detox from whatever effects, that they're suffering from now, spike protein and that. This is the best, one of the best to do. Heavy metals out of your body, toxins, etc. For back pain, for migraines, for blood pressure, for diabetes, for so many issues. I cannot recommend it enough. Again, that's something along the way I learned in Egypt. The land of, sacred land of ancient Egypt, full of mystery. Here we are. This is in Edfu temple, where a high priest is depicted using the ancient Egyptian power tools, the Ankh, the Was, and the Diyet. And I was just showcasing this ritual. It's a whip. It's a fire whip. This is me in Abu Simbel on the Sudanese-Egyptian border, in Abu Simbel temple, carrying the Ankh and the Was in my hands with the two wrists, which is similar to whirling. You see that? On the heart, two wrists connecting on the heart, taking you back into your power, right? Because the true power is the power of the heart. And little did I know that also there are similarities, Jeffrey, on the point of similarities. Look, when I went back into whirling, again, you start with both hands on the heart, embracing who you truly are. So as you see, along my journey, I picked up these modalities, these extremely beneficial tools to help. And then I experience it firsthand because I like to practice what I preach. I've experienced it firsthand. I vouch for it. I know that it works beyond the shadow of a doubt. And then I share it. In this video that you're showing, this is another therapy that I learned in Valencia, Spain. This is called Atlantean therapy, which incorporates quantum accelerators, these tools of light. They emit light, geometry, sacred geometry, and color. And through that, we calibrate the energetic field of people, spaces, and objects. And we also utilize ancient Egypt power tools. As you can see, we work on ancestral baggage. We liberate generational trauma and generational ancestral heritage that is of no benefit to us. We break cycles like this. We liberate people from manipulation, from negativity. There's a lot of aspects, deep energetic work. We realign the system, the energetic field of the person, and then all of a sudden there's this environment that's conducive to healing the person. We basically help the person, we support their own self-healing because we all have it within ourselves, it just gets blocked. So my job is to remove blockage and allow the system to heal itself because we have that wonderful, miraculous capacity within. And then I do deep ancestral work with people inspired from ancient Egypt, the ritual of the opening of the mouth, exorcism even, and so much more. So that's something that I've learned from masters especially Jose Miguel of Valencia, the Atlantean master, who channels this wisdom from ancient Egypt and ancient memories that he recalls. And then he trusted me with that, and then I started to also remember, let's just say, ancient memories, and also download my own visions, and then develop the system further, and then use it for the benefit of the people. So that was another thing that another tool to the box, so to speak, that came about. And I practiced it for over 8 years. It took me to ancient Egypt, ancient Mexico, the Aztecs and the Incas, and that civilization. I traveled all around to find literally pieces of me. Like when I traveled to Egypt, I felt like parts of me, fragments of my soul, so to speak, integrated in these temples, the pyramid, and the meditations that we do there, the journey, the Horus route or the Moses route, also all the way from Cairo through Sinai Desert back to the Holy Land of Palestine. I also walked that route. I traveled the route also to Costampella, the Santiago, in Spain, and again along that journey, 10 hours, you get to discover. So this is the beauty. This is something that I found fascinating in the Quran, because the Quran says, "Walk in the alleyways of earth of God's creation and eat from God's fruits." Because that's what God wants. God wants easy for you and not hard. We actually make our lives hard. We are by our own choices. The divine wants love, wants abundance, wants us to enjoy this beautiful reality that He's created, which we can turn into paradise. It's a paradigm shift. It's about what you embody. You can have your paradise here. You can have your hell here. And the divine clearly, through different messages, through different civilizations and ancient cultures and spiritual paths, say the same thing. God is love, and that's what God wants for you. So seek that, embody that, know that you are that. So we're here once again to remind everybody of this, because you have to believe, because you can't become if you don't believe. You have to believe that you are love to become love as a first step, as a prerequisite. Yes.
Hey, brother, have you ever come south of the equator?
Sorry?
Have you come south of the equator on your journeys? I just want to ask you.
To the equator of Earth, if I have...
You come into the southern hemisphere, yeah.
The equator in the middle of Earth?
Yeah. It's because the way when I'm looking at you and I'm seeing you and you've been talking about it, you've been traveling around the world, it seems to me that you've been traveling all the countries of the northern hemisphere. And so with your whirling, doing anti-clockwise, I can understand working in the northern hemisphere. But coming across into the southern hemisphere, our vortex, our toroidal field is completely different. You would have to go clockwise. So you want to put that to your master. Yeah.
Yeah,
if you go,
whoever...
You fill up a basin of water in the northern hemisphere and pull the plug out, you'll see its vortex. Now, if you come into the southern hemisphere and do the vortex, it's completely opposite. So it's very much similar to our magnetic field on the planet. So yeah, because I don't know if your Sufis have actually come south of the equator, but I also want to say that, you talked about Muhammad, but we've got the Shiites as well. So isn't there always that little conflict in ideology between the Shiites and the Sufis? Yeah, it's the same as the Anglicans, Presbyterians. Yeah.
Yes, you meant to say the classic historic division between the Shias and Sunnis rather than Sufis.
Sunnis. My apologies. I take that.
Yeah,
back.
no. That's not a problem. There's actually the Sufis and the Shiites and the Sufis and everybody else. they are a lot closer, because you see, with Sufism is the mystical practice, the
Got it.
spiritual
Understood.
path
Yeah.
of Islam, and it's closer to Shiaism, it's closer to Sunni. It's like it's not, it doesn't fall as part of this divide. You can have a Shia person that's a Sufi seeking a spiritual path, and you can have a Sunni who's Sufi. So Sufism is this spiritual path that takes you to the heart, irrespective of the political or religious affiliations. Because in my way, for example, my religion is love. In my way, and I recognize the message of Prophet Muhammad. He was sent as a mercy to mankind. There's a lot of misconceptions. People don't actually know who Prophet Muhammad truly is. He is the mercy to mankind. He came to everybody, irrespective of religion, background. His message is universal and should be practiced as such, a message of love, compassion, and coexistence. But then you have established religions coming in and wanting to hijack that and impose their own interpretations, their own way, and then they move away from the essence of love, and then you get to see this distortion of truth and its manifestations of conflicts and troubles and divisions, and which makes you wonder: are we actually who are we actually serving in this way? And this is why, with our practice, we move away from all of that.
Understand.
Back to the heart. Back to the heart. That's the solution. People can hijack whatever they want to do. The ego can manifest in different ways in all cultures, and also we see it, in all religions. And this is where problems start to happen. And this is where people need to realize that these tools that came before, the spiritual path, these religions, were meant to guide people to their heart, to the source, to love. And if they fail to do that, then maybe it's time to ask the question. And if that path doesn't lead you nowhere, then there's always the path straight to your heart. And we are here actively working to remind people of that, irrespective of color, background, religion. We are all one in the sight of God. And the love that beats within my heart, it's big enough to encompass this entire reality. Even the wrongdoers, even those people who are programmed and hijacked, I actually have sympathy for them. I have sympathy for people who are in pain, who are suffering, and they're resorting to the wrong things to ease their suffering, And this is one of my missions now, is to embody that first, and then share it with everybody, and go beyond titles, because it's all an illusion. For God's sake, like, my name was given to me by somebody else, and my identity, I am this and I am that, it only serves as divisions instead of being celebrated as diversity and different flavors of life. We then use it as borders and boundaries and means of separation. It's about time for that to stop.
Definitely.
And we are here to resonate that, and we will continue to do so long this heart beats.
Oh, well, you've got a beautiful heart and soul, and and we all pray for your family and for peace. That all of us here are doing our best to keep, hold the peace within us, so that we radiate peace to help others to find the same. So anyway,
yes, sorry. On that note, I'm just led to share something because it's so relevant and it's so it's in the now. It's a call for my people in the Holy Land. And I'm not saying Palestine or Israel. I'm saying the Holy Land. And I'm saying my people, everybody that's there. For those who resonate with this message, it's time to rise up and spread this love and spread this peace, because you are the true ambassadors of love and light, and I know you exist. I know personally people on both sides who want to see the suffering come to an end, who want to only see love and coexistence and unity for everybody on the Holy Land, because the Holy Land is for everyone. So I call upon you to raise your vibration, raise your prayers, be in the heart, broadcast from the heart this, so that it counteracts that call for fear, for division, for separation, for suffering, that distortion of the truth. And the solution is for enough of us to be in their heart space and resonate that this is how this centuries old, this conflict did not start now, but there is a chance for it to end. And it can only end with love, because the answer is love. The solution lies there. And those who embody that need to resist the temptation of being pulled in this war vortex and remain in their heart space and resonate, and never doubt the power of your heart, the power of love, the power of your vibration. There is a reason why you and I were born in that part of the world. There's a reason why we genetically belong to that ancestral line, and it can end with us. If you are overwhelmed, take strength from my words. If you are falling into despair, please know and connect to the infinity that's deep within you, that's way beyond and bigger than the illusion imposed upon people's eyes. That this reality and that paradigm, it does not have to be that way. That's an illusion of itself. And the power of the heart is far, far more superior. So please spread this love. This is what we need right now. Free yourself, free your future generations from this baggage, from these cycles that are consuming us. Isn't it time? Isn't it enough? We need to rise up to this responsibility. We can do it. I have risen up for years. I made conscious choices not to contribute to the cycles of suffering and violence. There is a better way, and this is the better way. And you're supported, because this is the way of the divine. The minute you seek that, the whole universe is going to support you, because the universe right now is only supporting love. Anything else is diminishing, even if through illusion it's made to feel overwhelming. It's not. Seek that within you and know that you have that power, you have the support. And if your strength is waning, get in touch. Get in touch. I'll send you strength. And that strength is not from me. Do not look at me. Look at that which makes me speak, and seek power from that source. And that source is within you. And if you fail to find it, or you find it hard, use me as a mirror to reflect that. And let's bring a better reality for us all. And
I thought you're really talking about the ideal rather than the idol, aren't you? Everybody's fallen in love. Everybody's fallen in love with the idol and not the actual ideal. You're actually proposing the ideal.
Because this is our truth, this is what I recognize to be to be our true reality within. And I have not believed in that for so long, because as everybody else, I was born into a certain construct and worldview, and you're fed that, and this is what you need to conform to. But something deep within me was saying no.
Yep.
And I trusted that, and this is what took me where I am right now. And I believe I'm one of the luckiest people ever existed, with that grace that I get to experience. It's very personal to me, and I know its power, and I know its impact, and I know the vibration and the pleasure and its effectiveness, And I know that every single one of us have access to that. This is the most superior thing if we are to seek superiority. This is the biggest blessing that was granted to us by the divine. It's our birthright. We actually have it. This places us, if we connect with it, far higher and above even angels. People like to seek angels for help. It's good, of course. They're our friends, light beings. But come on, you have God in your heart, the divine in your heart. And if you, like Sufism teach, annihilate yourself in the divine, i.e. your ego, and achieve this oneness with the divine, when you reach that place, you are one with everything. I mean, infinitely with everything. Imagine that power. Imagine that grace. There's nothing like it. And the more I get to experience that, the more it's like you can't see any other reality but God, because everything else is an illusion. And anything you see or touch or smell is the manifestation of the divine. And until you see that, or you recognize that, and you feel that, you're going to be cut off and you're going to be suffering. So the way is to get there.
Wow. Such a beautiful message. Yeah, I mean, you're touching heart and soul, obviously, by your talking and your words. Yeah. So can I ask a question? How young are you?
How young am I?
Yes.
Well, since I'm born as a male, I don't think we have a big issue with the age question. I'm just joking.
No, my meaning was that you've achieved so much. Like you're not, you might be halfway through your journey or a journey of life or whatever, but you have achieved so much and helped so many and touched so many, and there's still masses for you to keep doing, and you will be doing.
Yes. I have just turned 40 in July. I'm a Leo. So I've just turned 40. In our Arab culture, you can only be considered a man to reach the age of manhood once you hit 40.
Really?
So yeah, I'd like to think I'm still the old curious child that I've always been, and I will continue to be. But yeah, the reason why I mean, I appreciate your words. Thank you very much. They mean a lot. The journey has been tough, but well worth it. Like now I look back at the wartime, and I'm grateful for these times, because they made me the person that I am right now. That was my training camp, my boot camp.
Yeah. Gosh.
This is why I don't mind van life, around the world and being alone. Like I just drove across the whole continent for 1 week alone, and it's okay when people freak out from that journey because they can't sit with themselves alone. I love it because I recognize I'm never alone. It's like what Rumi says, alone with the alone.
Yeah.
You're never alone, right? So one thing I wanted to highlight is that as you start to tap into your infinite nature and the infinite nature of your heart, you get to, it's like a quantum leap, you get to achieve so much so quick. You open yourself up to a whole different perception. And with that, you receive downloads that are beyond the mind. You grow, light years in no time. It really is like that, and this is the beauty of the way. And there's no point of me just trying to convince somebody of that. It's just, it doesn't work like this. The Sufi masters, my masters, they teach man dhaqa araf. Those who taste, they know. So you have to experience. You have to, because only then, like no, like if you've never tasted honey or anything sweet, there's no way I can be describing this to you in the most scientific way. I can just show you videos and pictures. I can emulate these, the sensations, the taste buds, etc. But it will not feel the same. The only time you get to taste. And you don't have to learn how to taste from professors and stuff like that. He can be a simple honeybee keeper somewhere in the mountains that's not even educated about honeybees and their what they do, etc., other than he knows just how to get honey collected. And he just brings and gets you to experience, and you're like, wow, and this is what dervishes are. They're simple, beautiful, humble human beings that are somewhere around the world, and they just they feed you nectar, they feed you honeydew. They give you that divine experience that our souls crave so much. I mean, my words would have no weight if I have not gone through that experience. So nothing that I say that I haven't personally experienced. This is why the words come from that place, and that they may have that weight, and otherwise they're just empty words, right?
Anyway, can we go back to some pointers for the whirling?
Yes. So okay, I love your sense of focus and practical approach. Yes, let's get you whirling. So basically, if you don't have the patience until February, when we come to Glastonbury again for the workshop. Okay. So basically, you can start really slow. Everything is all about intention. You have your own private channel, your own private connection to the divine in your heart. So you can just connect to your heart. I would personally, I like to give respect where respect is due. And I would personally recommend that you also connect with a Sufi master like Sheikh Ahmed Dede, who is the master of the whirling order in the world right now, spiritually authorized for this. And so that then, because they can connect with you through the heart, they can help you, like they have keys, right? Because if somebody has walked the journey and reached destination, they know how to extend the helping hand and get you there, because they just know, they've been on that path. So to get initiated is the best thing. However, you also have your own connection to the divine. So you feel in your heart, and you can put your hands on like so, right hand on the left shoulder, left hand on the right shoulder, feeling in your heart. And then you can start slowly whirling, even if it's 7 steps, even if it's just mere 7 steps, and slowly bring your hands up, right hand to the sky, seeking God's grace and love, and left hand down, so that you bring that blessing for yourself, for your house, for your children, for your family, for your people. When you're in that space, you can just pray. The idea is to connect with the divine in your heart, and then be the medium to channel that energy and give it everywhere you can. And remember, as you're doing the whirling, remember to leave yourself behind. Get out of your head, basically. And if you can't whirl a little bit longer, and the whirling will help, trust me. And slow it down if you get dizzy or anything like that. I really am absolutely gobsmacked. I'm shocked to my core until now that how could I do it? Like, how could it be possible that I never fainted or never felt dizzy? It was impossible for me before, but I guess once it's time, it's time. As part of my daily practice now, for the love of the world, I do 1,000 times, which takes me about an hour. It's like not in my wildest dreams, right? I wouldn't even be able to do it for a minute. And now, because you see, the minute, and this is what I have experienced personally, the minute you allow yourself to flow, right? After a while, you might start physically whirling, you know, and you might feel it. Oh, okay, I'm taking one step at a time. Oh, I'm rotating, physically feeling. But you know what? After a while, this presence become to carry you. Like you see me in Glastonbury Church, I was gone. I was just floating like this. We were there for like intermittently for like what, a couple of hours or something,
Definitely.
right? And after a while, you get to experience a presence that's more superior to your ego, to your identity or who you think you are, and it just carries you. And in that space, you get to just relax, you know, you get to de-stress, you get to offload your baggage. And then, oh my God, it's like magical. It's like anti-gravitational, you know, like really, literally, there were moments where it's like this weightlessness, this, you're being carried by the hands of grace. The angels are putting their wings under your feet, carrying you. And you know, you can't be the same after that. Once you taste that, once you experience that, you can't stop. And then you get to see that it's actually impacting the people too. Yeah, look here. And there were other, that was like halfway through it, and there was a moment where everybody, all the musical band behind, they all got up and they started to, you know, chant. And I was just gone, because I was also connecting with the power of their chants that was coming, and I was just absolutely gone. Like I couldn't even feel my feet, you know. It was the most divine that I have felt, and so many people, tens of them that were there, they came back and gave feedback of how they were touched by it. So it's real. It's not fantasy. It's not just a mere dance. It is a dance with a purpose, with a message, a dance that literally anchors light and love in our reality if practiced correctly, and if practiced, what shall I say, altruistically. Yeah. And this is what this is my friend and brother Adam. He's Hungarian, and also he became a whirling dervish recently too, and he's fantastic. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're coming to the end of the show, and would have liked to have asked you a lot more to do with your healthy food life as well, and also human design. So perhaps you'd come back and talk to us another time in the new year and share your wisdom.
Yes, happily, but just very quickly on these two points. Again, these were other junctions on my life journey. So I was traveling in the mountains of the Czech Republic, where I, for the first time, come face to face with ancient apple trees that are original to the Czech Republic, that strudel area, you know, in Europe, the Czech, Slovakia, and Austria, famous for the apple pie, the strudel. And these apples existed since eternity. You know, they don't even have English names. They're like so local. They're very, very local varieties. And I remember a saying of the Prophet recommending vinegars as a food that every single prophet consumed, and that Prophet Muhammad recommended very, very much. And I was so saddened that I couldn't find original, authentic, traditional, fermented vinegar. So I've decided, long story short, it's a whole journey that took me 6 years. So I've decided to make my own apple cider production. I studied 3 industries to get to that by myself through books and pure experimentation. I studied the juice making industry, the alcohol making industry, and the vinegar making industry to make a truly authentic, no additions, no filtration, no pasteurization, truly tradition, like it was time in Jesus, like it was done in Jesus times, truly healing, because I couldn't find it, so I ended up making it. And that started a whole journey into food, because you see, again, the Prophet recommended that, look, your body is your vessel, you need to take care of it. And nowadays, corruption is everywhere. Everything is corrupted. All the food, the air, the water, right? So I started this radical almost approach to, no sugars, stay away from sprayed food as much as you can, make your own food. In my van, in my camper van, I cook my own food. I go to mountains, I source it from farms, I ferment my own foods. This live culture that we lost, all these condiments nowadays, they're dead. This mayo and tomato sauce and what's not is dead food. The real condiments are alive. This is a whole other area where, it's full of live culture. And when you eat that, this is what your body becomes, what you eat, right?
Exactly.
So again, I started to learn all these ancient old methods of fermenting food, of producing superfoods, hunting things from the mountains, shilajit. Now I am actually in Lithuania, right next to Russia right now, and I'm about to source some wonderful shilajit, the famous.
Lovely.
Yeah, and I go all around the world, and I pick, like from Turkey, it was the the olive season. So I've picked the olives from the trees and marinated them myself, etc., etc. And then I share, watch this space. If those would like to follow more, they can go to my Instagram or Facebook. I will be sharing more of this in the form of videos and reels, to share what I found, these pearls of wisdom and ancient techniques that are so important for our body. Because if we don't take care of this vessel that's carrying that divine within us, we don't get to experience life in its full capacity and in the joy and fulfillment that we all seek. So taking care of the body is super, super important. That's your vehicle. That's what's carrying you through this reality back to source where we come from. So that's another aspect. And then human design opened me up to the mystical aspects of numerology, astrology, of the I Ching of China, of the Kabbalah, of the sacred arts, of the chakra systems, and then our own DNA and what it encodes. We are magical beings with infinite potential, and it's about time that we believe in that and trust in that, and go back to these sacred ancient arts that take us there. And there's a reason why all of this has been taken away. There's a reason why this corruption is and distortion to truth is prevalent. But it doesn't have to be this way, and it can end with us, and it will.
Totally. Beautiful. Well, honestly, you touch heart and soul wherever you go. And I know to our listeners and readers, I've seen lots of comments flashing up. We'll get back to that. But yeah, just thank you for taking the time out to share your wisdom. And I would love you to come back in the new year and share more about your foods and human design.
Thank you very much for giving me this this platform and this opportunity to broadcast this energy. None of what I say is mine, and I am no different to any of you. And all that I say, I am sure resonates deep, because you already have that within, and I'm just a trigger. I am here as a catalyst and as a mirror to reflect what you already have.
Well, thank you for reminding everybody who we truly are. We are God. We are God within, and we, the power of prayer. We are the change makers now. We are making you know, we're in the greatest time of history where everything's rebalancing and clearing. And so, yeah, so thank you once again, and much love and blessings in all what you're doing. So thank you very much.
Hey, there's just one question
Right.
from Lilith. She wants to know, when you're doing
yeah.
swirling, do you shut your eyes? It's just
it's not recommended to. It's recommended to keep your eyes open and maintain that presence, because the idea is to have be here and there kind of thing at the same time. One foot in this reality and another foot in the 5D or whatever D that you would like.
Yeah.
I'll leave it for you to experience.
Yeah.
No, that's
Which
okay.
do you like? Okay. Well, thank you once again. You know, and everybody's listening, just please keep your prayers open for world peace.
Please.
You know, that's our focus, is world peace.
It's my daily prayer, daily practice, and that's why for that I whirl, and for that I feel that I exist.
Well, keep whirling.
I like the hashtag.